Hello, everyone. Welcome to today's episode of Love Life Faith. My name is Laj Iren, and you're on my channel, and I'm pumped to have you here. Today, I'm going to be speaking from my book, Dating Intelligently, about. Let me show it again. All right, I'm sure you've seen it. About who not to marry. And this is very important because many times when you see some telltale signs that show that a dating relationship is heading for disaster, and you tell people, the first thing especially if the person is a believer, the first thing the person will say is, well, I have this conviction I'm supposed to marry this person, or God told me to marry this person. So if that's your mindset, I want to refer you to an earlier video, Love versus God Said. You should watch that video to have a better idea of what I'm talking about. And the summary of that video really is that God doesn't necessarily choose for us but with us, but you should watch the video. But today I want to talk to you about who not to marry. So there's a chapter in my book actually that addresses that, and it's divided into two sections: don't marry her if, and don't marry him if. And if I sound judgmental in any of the videos, you can be sure that it's intentional. Because people always say, don't judge, but there's a perspective, right, when the Bible says not to judge. Do you understand? It doesn't tell you that when you want to marry somebody, you should not judge their character. What we see from Jesus, for example, is when he wanted to reach out to people, he reached out to everybody regardless of their background. He reached out to tax collectors and sinners and prostitutes. But when he came to his inner circle, when it came to the people he spent all his time with, do you understand? He picked Peter, James, and John. He wanted people who believed the same things as he did. Of course, those people were not perfect, but he didn't just say, I'm not going to judge, so I can be best friends and spend all my time with anybody. And as believers, that's something to understand, that even though you don't treat people judgmentally, when it comes to choosing your inner caucus, when it comes to choosing a spouse, when it comes to choosing a best friend, there are qualities you must look out for. Not because you want to feel like you're better than this person, but because you understand that bad company corrupts good manners, and good company instills in many ways good manners. So who not to marry, right? And I'm going to start with don't marry her if. I know many of my followers are ladies, so I'm sure you guys will wait till the end for don't marry him if. But let me start with don't marry her if. So I said here that pretty girls are a cowboy dozen, what some people refer to as a dime a dozen. In other words, there are pretty girls everywhere. Do you understand? On the outside, there are pretty girls everywhere. But if you really want to choose a life partner, these are some things that you should look out for. So I would advise a guy, if I was talking to a brother or somebody I really loved, I'll tell you, number one, don't marry her if she's money conscious. And this goes for you too as a guy. There are a lot of guys who feel that they can use money to get a particular girl, to get the kind of girl that they want. And so they are like, well, I don't want to get married yet. I want to make a lot of money. And then when I make that money, girls just be falling at my feet. What they don't realize is that the kind of girl that is actually priceless cannot be bought with money. If you are putting money out there as a bait to attract a wife or to attract somebody in relationships, you are going to pick somebody who is money conscious. I'm not saying that rich people always pick money conscious people. Do you understand? But what I'm saying is that if you put money out there as a bait, like I'm just going to throw it around and then whoever and then I'm going to be worthy of this particular caliber of girl, you miss the point, because there's more to life than money. And I think everybody does need money. I'm talking to you, ask my husband for money a while back, I think this morning. So everybody does need money, but money consciousness is something that you don't want in a marriage, because even though we trust God for provision and we always believe for the best, sometimes bad things happen, and so you want to be with somebody who will still be with you even when the money is no longer there. I'm not saying you should do like all these Nigerian films and pretend there's no money just so that you can attract the right girl. Or I'm not saying you should be stingy. I think if you love someone, you should spend on them. But if somebody is in a relationship with you and is money conscious, this person's boyfriend bought for her, what did you buy for me? I remember somebody telling another person that she was in a relationship with her. See the things you bought for me for Valentine, you're making me miss my ex. Just silly statements like that. I'll move past that point. But you must be careful. Don't just be with somebody who is money conscious. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? Don't be with somebody who treats people based on how much they have. Don't be with somebody whose self-worth is based on how much she has. Don't be with somebody whose value for you is based on how much you have per time. That's not how it works. There's some guys that say, oh well, girls only care about money, and that's not true. It just means that you have been meeting the wrong kind of girls. And it's not fair on us girls just say all girls only care about money, because there's some of us who really don't just care about money. Of course, if you want to get married as a man, it's good that you have conscious. There are some guys who are in a relationship with a girl, and you know this girl is still collecting money from other guys, but you don't mind because you are money conscious too. It almost seems as if two of you deserve each other. But very, very important, no matter if she's money conscious. Money is important, but it's not the most important thing. Do you understand? You must be with somebody who doesn't mind supporting your dreams and visions, and your vision, even your vision for life, even when you don't have it all figured out. And you to be responsible and try to figure some things out. I think I'll talk about that one in another video. Second thing is, don't marry her if she won't let you lead. And I've realized that even for the most amazing of guys, there's something in, even for the calmest, meekest guys, there's something innate in you that you are leading. There's a leader in you in a marriage relationship. And it's not necessarily because, of course, some people don't have been pumped by ego and society, but it's beyond ego and society. It's realizing that God made you the leader in a relationship, and that is not something that should make you have a big head and say, wow, I'm the leader, whatever I say goes. It's something actually that should make you realize the responsibility that has been thrust on you, that God is going to ask you, so how did you handle this daughter of mine? How did you raise your children? You are responsible. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? You are responsible. And so if she won't let you lead, if she cannot let you be the leader in a relationship, and you're a kind of person who believes in God's order for marriage, I don't have power to start discussing people that don't believe in God's order for marriage. If you have your own idea, it's your choice. But I'm talking based on the word of God now. God's order for marriage is that the man should be the leader in a relationship. And it doesn't mean that the woman is not your equal. Do you understand? It's just the structure in my relationship for one person to be the leader. It's just like now, I'm not president of Nigeria, but I will not now say, so Buhari is oppressing me because I'm not president. I'm less of a Nigerian than Buhari is. My own passport is pink because I'm not president. Just for the sake of order, God has created a leader in a marriage relationship. Then there's a problem, especially when you are mature about it. You know, there's some guys who are controlling. They say, you won't let me lead. I'm not talking to controlling guys here. I'm not talking to guys who feel threatened anytime a woman is doing well or is doing better than they are, or who feel threatened when she seems to know more about a particular situation. And I just trust me, women won't always get it 100% right, but all works in practice and is willing to learn. Do you understand? But has that mindset that this person can lead me, and I'm going to choose this person to lead me. So if she can't let you lead, my advice to you will be, don't marry her. Do you understand? If she's constantly always comparing you with other people, if she doesn't seem to believe in anything you do and picks on every little thing. And let me explain what I'm trying to say. I'm not trying to say that if a few times because women, we have sharp mouths. Even men have sharp mouths. Men too have sharp mouths, but they do it with deep voice. So it almost seems as if they don't have sharp mouths, but they do. I'm not saying that maybe when once in a while she seems to say things that are out of turn, but when it's a culture of constantly pulling you down, when it's a culture, my advice to you is that you don't marry her. If she has the mindset that there should be two leaders in a relationship, I think she's permitted to have that mindset, but I don't think you have to agree to it and be with her. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? I'm sure there are one or two men out there who say, okay, there should be meet somebody else who has that same mindset. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? Very important. And I wrote it, don't marry her if she don't know the Lord, because I've realized that a lot of Christian guys have this hero complex. They want to save somebody that the blood of Jesus cannot save, because there's something so that is more overwhelming and reckless than the love of God. And you just know that if you love this person, even if she doesn't know the Lord, she's going to just be saved because you're like the author and finisher of our faith. Clap for yourself. If she doesn't know the Lord, don't marry her. Let me say it again. If she doesn't know the Lord, don't marry her. See, this idea that you can enter a relationship with somebody who is not a Christian and bring the person closer to God is not true. In fact, there are some times when I've seen believing couples that said, oh, I want this person to bring me closer to God, and started dating the person. And the more you date the person, the more this person annoys you. The more you see this person's weaknesses. I'm talking about two believers now. The more you see this person's weaknesses, the more the time you spend in prayer is about complaining about this person to God. And the more that person is not leading you to God in the way you thought that person will lead you, how much more when you're with somebody who doesn't know the Lord. I believe truly from the word of God that the purpose of every person's life is Christ, to know him and to make him known. And if the love of your life is not in love with the lover of your soul, what are you doing with yourself? So if you don't know the Lord, don't marry her, no matter how well behaved she is. Proverbs 31:30 says, charm is deceitful and beauty is vain. It is a woman who fears God that is worthy of praise. Another thing is, don't marry her if she lacks honor and or a value system. So, do you know, I still, after reading the book of Job, I think for the first few times, I still felt sorry for the guy Job, because I was like, so after everything, it's sad that he lost his kids, but he still has to be married to this woman who told him to curse God and die. Like, he still has to be married to her day in, day out. And it's so sad that there are ladies, and don't worry, I'm going to go to guys, so don't worry yourself. That there are ladies who lack a value system, who are like, oh, well, anything goes. And you say, oh, everybody in your life, you say, everybody in your life has been complaining about you that you're rude. And there's like, don't mind them, they don't know what they're saying, they're just against me. And then you say, and then this person maybe works for a company and is never there on time, never does what she's supposed to, maybe even, and then you are just like, see, people are not going to be different people in a married relationship than they were before you married them. You are still marrying the same person. Do you understand? So if she doesn't have honor for people, if she can't respect her parents, if she can't respect the people who are supposed to be an authority in her life, if she cannot point out this is right and this is wrong, those are important. Because when you marry a person, not much of your marriage is going to be spent hugging and kissing and feeling cool. Not much of your marriage is going to be spent making decisions, saving for children's fees. Of course, marriage is beautiful, but you are going to have to build a structure in a life with this person. And there is more to building a life with someone than their looks. There's more to building a life with someone than your love for them. That value system is very, very important. You are trying to get a wife, not a makeup studio. You are trying to get a wife, not a makeup studio. So you must be sure that those values are in place. Can this person partner with me to raise children? That's very, very important. And then another thing is, don't marry her if she's unattractive to you. If she's unattractive to you. Now, this video is for single people. In other words, if you're married and you have a wife, she must be attractive to you. You must find a way for her to be attractive to you. You're already married. She will be attractive to you. If you're getting married next week, tomorrow, you have a wife, you have already told a family that, oh, I want to marry, she will be attractive to you. Anybody can be attractive. Trust me very well. Anybody can be attractive. The way my face is now is not the way my face was when I woke up this morning. So that's by the way. But if you're a single person, I found that love is a very interesting thing, and of course there's more to love than attraction. I talk about that in my book and in my books, and then in many of my videos. But I think this is what's important. That person must be beautiful in your eyes. I've seen people who married somebody who maybe had a physical defect. Maybe the person had whatever physical defect you might imagine. Let me leave it at that. But the way this woman would talk about her husband, you would think it was, I don't know, who is handsome now? Desmond Elliot on a very good day before he started adding weight. Or you think it was, what's this guy and skinny girl in transit? Ayola. You should think that the guy was one like macho, handsome by all standards kind of guy because he was beautiful in her own eyes. Do you understand? There's sometimes you might meet a lady and to you, the lady might not necessarily be attractive based on your own standards. But when you see how well the guy is just, oh, you're so beautiful. The person will not start changing in your eyes that, maybe she's actually fine. So if that person is attractive to you, I think you should go ahead. And don't let your standard of attraction be based on what other people think. You might look at somebody and the person is attractive and you find this person really fine and attractive, but people start saying, this one her eyes like this one her nose is like this, or maybe the person has another defect. You now start seeing the person through their eyes. I think that's wrong. Do you understand? So I think she must be attractive to you if you're going to marry someone. And attraction is wonderful, but just remember that that person won't always look that way. That's by the way, the person beyond a person's dressing and their lack of makeup skills. What some people just need, I don't know if you've ever seen a situation where somebody was your friend and the person never dressed up, and then maybe you guys had a dinner or something and the person dressed up and you're like, wow, you mean this girl is fine like this? Oh my god. So you must learn to look out for diamonds in the rough. But if the person is unattractive to you totally, completely, and I'm not talking about unattractive to your friends, unattractive to you, my advice, of course, would be that maybe you shouldn't marry that person. Just maybe. Yeah, so, and like I said here, look beyond the container. If you're not attracted to her character and her intellect as well, don't marry her. Conversation with that person. Marriage is actually spent talking. In fact, you spend more time talking than all those other things you think you do in marriage. And you probably spend more time talking in marriage than having sex. So this person should be able to appeal to your emotions, should be able to appeal to your intellect. Do you understand? That's very important. And I said don't marry her if she's unfaithful. So I have to discuss this at length. There's sometimes when somebody makes a mistake once and opens up to you without you finding out because the person wants to be truthful to you. But if it's a situation where the thing has happened more than once, or if it's a situation where it happened more than once and you did not find out, in fact, the only time you realized that she was sorry was because you heard from somewhere else, I personally think that that's a red flag. And then I think if people are unfaithful more than once, more often than not, from the cases I've seen, they might make a culture out of it. But that's something to discuss with your pastors, with your leaders, to discuss with her. Don't you understand? Because sometimes some of these cases are, I can't give a generic answer to all unfaithfulness cases. Do you get? But I think it's a red flag and it shouldn't just be something that you go ahead with. Do you understand? Yeah. And then I said, don't marry her if she doesn't love your family. So some ladies will jokingly say that they want to marry a man whose mother is already dead. And I'm like, it's not even funny. It's not funny at all. How would you feel if the person you want to marry is also praying that your own mother should die? Do you understand? Don't be like that. Of course, we all pray for good mother-in-laws. In fact, I'm praying for favor for you because I have a really amazing mother-in-law myself personally. But if she doesn't love your family, I don't think you should marry her. You know when your family is being unreasonable. Some of you guys, God will just help people. You have mothers that, let me just be respectful, but you have mothers that you self, you know that this your mother's self, and your girl maybe tries to avoid her but still respects her, but just knows that if I'm friends with this one, she will just destroy me. So you also know, be objective. What's your mom like? Seriously now, be objective. If you had a sister, will you want your sister to marry into your mother's family? Just that's the gauge you now use to know. But if she doesn't love your family, if she doesn't spur you to be closer to your family, to reach out to them, to forgive them when they are wrong. If you tell her, so this is what my brother did, and she now starts bad mouthing the brother every time, or bad mouthing your family member, don't marry her. That's my advice to you. There are times when your family members are actually toxic and she says, maybe you should give them small space. That's what I'm saying. You should be objective and know your family members. Do you understand? But I think all in all, she should love your family members. Don't marry her if she's unkind and badly behaved. See, if this person is a troublemaker, if she gossips, if she's not trustworthy, don't marry her. If she's a troublemaker, if she gossips, if she's not trustworthy, don't marry her. If she's not kind, you see, I pray with all my heart that as a guy you get that beautiful slay queen you're looking for, but let her also have good character. Like, there are stylish girls that have good character. Pick one of them. See, marriage is not Instagram. It's different. It's totally different. Pick somebody with good character. If she doesn't behave well, if she's unkind to those around her, don't marry her. And then don't marry her if she doesn't support you. So the role of a wife is to be a helpmate. I didn't say the role of every woman is to be a wife, or the role of every man is to be a helpmate. I said the role of a wife is to be a helpmate. You want to be with somebody who supports your dreams and visions. Somebody who can say, okay, well, you are doing this, I'm going to put my money in it. And I don't mean, there's has to be balancing it, because everything always has an extreme. There are some guys who don't do anything, who are not serious and have rich girlfriends that they always want to be pumping money. I'm not talking about those ones. But I think that if you're with somebody who loves you, even if the person can't afford to put money, they can afford to put time, they can afford to put words, they can afford to get their contacts to support what you're doing. If she doesn't support you, don't marry her, because marriage really is about finding someone that will support you and be there for you for life. And then another thing could be, because some guys feel that everything the girl should do in life is to support them, but they never support the lady. And so there are times when ladies figure out that I'm doing everything to support this guy, but when it's my own thing, he's not there and withdraws. That should be a lesson for you that, it's a two-way street. I should also support her as well. But if you're doing your best to support her and this person doesn't support you, don't marry her. And then don't marry her if she doesn't know who she is. I think she has to know who she is in Christ. She has to know where she's going. She has to at least have a sense of direction for life. There are some of you that are in a relationship with somebody who loves the Lord, who hasn't had it all figured out yet, probably because she's young, needs some guidance, needs some mentorship. That's amazing. Do you understand? Because person is willing to be taught, person is teachable, and you're not marrying her like now. Do you understand? So that's okay for a relationship, but when it's time to do wedding bells, at least let her have a sense of direction for her life. Because what happens is sometimes, and I've seen this with people who are dating ladies who are quite young, she doesn't really know what direction her life is going yet. If you push for a marriage relationship, you're going to find out that you're going to get married to somebody in life. She can now know whether or not she needs to be on, whether you need to be on this journey with her. Do you understand? That's why you realize that sometimes people are dating when they are young, but the older they grow, the more they realize that I like this person as a friend, but the direction I see my life going, we will not be going in the same direction, and they break up. And a breakup is not always a bad thing. Sometimes it's a really good thing. Do you understand? So if she doesn't know who she is, don't rush to marry her. And there's a point I want to make, because some people will say, don't marry a woman that cannot cook. And I think just figure out what's important to you. If you are with a woman who loves the Lord, loves you, supports you, do anything for you, but she can't cook, I think you should marry her. That's me. If I was a guy, I would marry her, but that's just me. If cooking is like the alpha and omega of everything marriage for you, it's also your choice. A lot of success in marriage, choice has a major role to play when it comes to success in marriage. Because cooking can be learned. It's difficult to teach an unteachable person anything, but cooking can be learned. Do you understand? There are women who are amazing wives, never cook, their husbands cook. It's up to you. Some people want to marry a woman that can cook. It's up to you. But you must make sure that you are the one determining and defining those terms for yourself. If it has never really bothered you that your girl can really cook well, until your friends will say, she cannot cook, then you need to also reassess why you are doing the things you are doing. Do you understand? But really, it's up to you. I said here that some women can cook for Africa but are badly behaved. And I said a disclaimer that I am a really good cook because my husband can never cook anything. But I said if marrying a woman is a good cook is extremely important to you, just be sure that it's not the most important thing. Do you understand? Be sure that it's not the most important thing. Like, look out for character compatibility, a God-fearing attitude. If a girl has all this and can't cook, I think you're throwing away a good thing by refusing to marry her. That's just my personal opinion. And I said, don't forget that people can learn how to cook, and that some husbands cook better than their wives, and people employ cooks and cleaners all the time. Like, when you understand what marriage really is about, it's about spurring each other onto good works. And maybe your own goal in life is to be maybe president. You realize that in the whole scheme of things. Do you understand? Because when you're president and your wife is first lady, she's not going to be cooking every day. She's going to have other assignments. Or you want to marry a woman that is going to be president, she's not going to be cooking every day. That's the truth. So I think it's really up to you. And I'm going to raise my daughters, of course, to know how to cook. And my mom raised me that way. And I think it's important that women and men should know how to cook. But I think a woman should know how to keep a home. Well, I'm going on and on because I want you to understand that your choice has a part to play in all this. Do you get? Don't marry him if. So, people will tell you that husbands are sassy. He has to do everything to keep that man. And so even now in 2019, after all the Nollywood films they've done, after all the stories you've heard, people are still sleeping with a guy to keep them. A guy that has not kept you by marrying you, you are sleeping with him to keep him. After all the stories you have heard, you are still doing that. Please, I think a good marriage in some ways could be an achievement. If you both work on building a Christ-centered marriage, is a good achievement. But just getting somebody to marry you is not really an achievement. Like you're saying, just marry me. I always say better nobody than the wrong somebody. So don't just be like, he has already proposed marriage to me. It doesn't, I know he doesn't have son, but he has agreed to marry me. That marriage is not a reward, it's an assignment. And if you are on that assignment with the wrong person, you have already failed. Well, there's hope, but generally it's not easy. Don't worry. That's the advice I give married people, is different from the one I give single people. That's why if you're married, I'll tell you something else. But if you're single, let me just tell you, if you choose wrongly, you have a less likely chance of getting a successful home. Please don't marry somebody because, and I don't know who this is for, but don't marry somebody because everybody knows you are dating. When the marriage doesn't work out, everybody will also know. And which one do you think will be worse? You're not going to come and live with you in that marriage relationship. People don't get better most of the time in the marriage relationship. There are one or two cases where you marry somebody who was just a complete jerk and the person changes. That's an exception. But generally, people get worse in a marriage relationship because the pressure is more. They've already married you, so for them, the stakes are less. Do you understand? And the options are also less. Do you get? So don't marry him if, number one, he has anger issues. I said that even the calmest of people will have their patience tested in marriage. How much more somebody with anger issues? Before I married my husband, I could have been 1,000,000% sure that he was the calmest guy I ever knew, and in many ways he's still calm. My husband has never, and will never beat me. He always deserves to beat me or anything weird like that. But there are some times that even me, I knew that this anger, do you understand, is sometimes, especially when you are young in marriage, there are some kind of realms of anger that only marriage can bring. Even me, there are some things I've done in the marriage relationship that I will now go back and say, hey, like, you are capable of this. husband says he's capable, not capable of this. But what I'm trying to say is that marriage will put you under intense pressure, where if this person already has an anger problem, it will be more difficult to control, because even the calmest of people can be pushed to the wall in a marriage relationship. And this is no excuse at all for domestic abuse. If there's someone that's beating you, better run. That's by the way. But if he has anger issues, don't marry him. If nobody can talk to him when he's angry, just start throwing things, beating people, and you're like, he loves me, he won't do that to me, you're just deceiving yourself. Let me just tell you. I have to retain my composure. But please, I want to be as real as possible with you. Don't marry somebody with anger issues if you can't control it, especially if he gets physical when he's angry. You're dating somebody, he slapped you once, it's because he was angry. I won't do it again. You're just kidding. You mean to tell me that throughout your married life with this person, you will never annoy the person? Laugh for yourself. I don't even believe it. I'm saved and sanctified. I don't believe that you will never annoy somebody after you're married. There are ways. A mature couple will know how best to handle issues when they arise, but that you will never provoke this person, even if it's unintentional, is not true. And the one that I realize with men who are violent, is that many times they always look for an excuse. I was listening to a story of a woman who had faced domestic violence, and she was talking about how every time the guy would beat her, she would think it was her fault. And so she tried to do better. But even as she improved, the abuse did not stop. It will come from, my mom called you missed my mom's call, come and take slap. The food is too cold or it's too hot. When somebody has a problem, and everybody can get angry and nobody is perfect, but when somebody has a problem, no matter how hard you try, you will never be able to please them. So if somebody has an anger issue, let him go and deal with it. You don't want that for the rest of your life. And then, if he thinks money can buy you, don't marry him. There's nothing wrong with marrying a rich man. That's what we all pray our husbands should be. There's nothing wrong with marrying a rich man. But if he thinks money can buy you, there's some people who say, oh, well, I have money, I don't want you to work. And you have things that you really desire to do. You have things that God has put in your mind to do. They are just, it's one thing if you say, okay, well, I love the Lord and I want to be a housewife and I want to focus on raising my children. That's your choice. But if you've had dreams and assignments that God has placed in your heart, and then you meet somebody who says, I don't want my wife to work at all, and you say, oh, well, God told me this, and you're like, no, I don't want my wife to work at all. I just want her to focus on me, on raising kids. If you think money can buy you, don't marry him. What happens in a lot of relationships is a give and take situation. In other words, the guy is like, I'm marrying you because you're just so beautiful and you make a good trophy wife. And the lady is like, I'm marrying you because you have money, and so it's an exchange. And so even if this person is unfaithful, because he knows you are in need for the money, he's not going to marry, because he's going to be like, are you lacking anything? I'm giving you money, sending you on trips. Are you lacking anything? Why do you have to bother about me being faithful? So if he thinks money is the most important thing and money can buy you, I don't think you should marry him. Many times it's guys who think money can buy ladies that become something else when they face a financial crisis. I think every guy would be upset and sad and might change a little if there's a money situation. But more often than not, the ones who change to the point where they are beyond recognition are the ones who just think that the reason why a lady should marry them is because they have money. Don't marry him if he thinks money can buy you. And I said, don't marry him if his mama don't like you. I didn't even know I said it. It's been a while since I wrote this book. I didn't know why I wrote it here. And I said in this case, there are no absolutes. So if his mom doesn't like you and he's not a mommy's boy, like he can stand up for himself, doesn't get his daily sustenance from his mother, is not unnecessarily attached to her, you might give it a try. But if it's the one that he will not come say, mommy said One thing. Mommy said this one. Mommy said you did not greet her well. That's why she called you a fool. Mommy said you have to use your head, girl. If he keeps on stalling, you understand, to correct his mom maybe when she's unnecessarily rude to you. I'm trying to not use an example that is too close to home because I have personal experiences. Just if mother doesn't like you, rethink the entire situation. Not personal experience like my mother-in-law likes me. I was friends, so experience of friends. But my mother-in-law really likes me. She likes me. Oh God, she likes me a whole lot. But by the way, if his mama don't like you, that might be a red flag. There's no absolutes with this one. Sometimes eventually the mother will now even like you more than she likes the son. You get? But if it's getting to a point where there are situations where mothers actually threat my mouth, I think you should be careful. Seriously. And especially if he's the kind of person who doesn't have a mind of his own. If he doesn't have a mind of his own and your mother does not like you, don't marry him. Take it from me. But if he has a mind of his own, mother does not like him, you can still gauge it small. If you don't know the Lord, don't marry him. I was telling somebody this thing, and she was telling me about how she met somebody who has a husband that was not a Christian, but the guy now is such an amazing guy, such an amazing husband. Please, I'm going to say this very slowly. Because Daniel entered the lion's den and came out alive, does not mean that everybody that enters will come out alive. 1 year in Ibadan, there was this guy who said his name was Daniel. Daniel namesake entered the lion's den because because his name was Daniel and God had done it for Daniel in the Bible and did not come out alive. No surprise there. You must learn to build your life on principles, not exceptions. Don't marry him if he's lazy. If he's lazy, don't marry him. I'm not saying he must be rich. He doesn't have to be rich. Oh God. When my husband proposed to me, we were both doing NYSC. We both had to save for like 2 years while we paid our first house rent. He didn't have money. Do you understand? You must not be a rich person, but you must see hard work. You must see smart work. You must see somebody who has a vision for his life and somebody who is working towards it. Somebody who is not afraid to get his hands dirty. I don't mean dirty in the sense of doing shady deals, because that one is even a form of laziness. I mean somebody who can say, okay, well, I remember when we first, just before we got married, my husband almost took a job as a teacher. As in, it was just, and there's nothing wrong with that, because in all labor there's profit and there's honor too. It says that whosoever cannot work should not eat. So if he's lazy, don't marry him. You too, don't be lazy as a woman. And then don't marry him if he's unfaithful. If he's unfaithful or he thinks all men are unfaithful, don't marry him. All those all men are unfaithful kind of guys, they are the lazy ones that don't want to be faithful and blame it on all men, including the very faithful ones. If he's unfaithful, don't marry him. There are faithful men out there. See, you don't want to spend the rest of your life checking phone. So who is this? So what did she say? So why is she messaging you? Hello, don't call my husband again. You don't want to do that to yourself. You don't want to do that to yourself. Pick a guy who believes in faithfulness. Don't marry him if he lacks honor. If he doesn't honor his parents, he doesn't honor his pastors, he doesn't have any pastor because he hears from God directly. Thank you. Don't marry him. Don't marry him. He claims to be a believer. He doesn't belong to a local church. He's doing service in his house. That's not God's design for spiritual growth. If he lacks honor, don't marry him. If he doesn't have people that he submits to, nobody mentors him, nobody can talk to him, especially when he's angry, don't marry him. My husband always says that the worst thing a lady can do is to submit herself to a guy who is not submitted to anybody. And if he doesn't love you, don't marry him. If he doesn't love you, don't marry him. And you must make sure that your definition of love is correct. There are some girls that will say, so my friend's boyfriend got her an iPhone and you only got me this cheap Android phone. You don't love me. Your definition of love must be correct. It must not be all those unreasonable. So you mean I entered the car and you didn't open the door for me? You don't love me? No. Please get the definition of love correct. It's nice if the guy opens. Some guys but just not trained to open car door. It doesn't mean they don't love you. They say, so you only called me 3 times instead of 5 times. You don't love me. Please. Do you know, I think you want to be with somebody who also has things that he's doing with his life, whose job description is not just relationship. Do you understand? So it's important that you marry somebody who loves you, but you must make sure that your definition of love is not unreasonable. And then don't marry him if he's still committed to someone else. If he's still committed to somebody else, don't marry him. Those of you that are sleeping with somebody else's husband, I don't know how people think life works. Like, so you're sleeping with somebody else's husband, for some reason he now divorces his wife because of you and marries you, and you expect that he will just be faithful to you because okay, wait, we're not connected. It was facing you.